Hello friends, today I will explain how to interpret the Awakening Witch priority list that serves as an infinite combo for endgame spots, as well as a good combo for every mid and early game spot as well. As of making this video, BA has no plans of changing Awake Witch, so I expect this to be relevant for a long time. I've been using its priority list myself since they made Barrage Tier 3 add-on and adjusted its cooldown earlier this year. First things first, let me answer your most likely question. Why is there no good infinite combos for Awake Witch in most spots? Awakening Witch, unlike most other classes, doesn't rely on a set combo, but rather works in a kind of freestyle by using higher DPS skills more often while keeping up with the buffs and debuffs. From all the memes, I'm sure you already know that the best skill in Witch's kit is Fisher Wave. But despite this, not having proper add-ons rolling, it will deal mediocre damage at best. The priority list ensures that you have all the important buffs rolling for the juicy Fisher press, regardless of your build. Now let's take a look at it. First skill we have here is of course the Voltaic Pulse, our beloved huge AoE debuff and pull skill, with a 15% evasion shred and casting speed buff. Use it pretty much on cooldown, since that guarantees add-on uptime, as well as provides some very good damage. The Voltaic's only real flaw is that the casting speed buff gets overridden by speed spell, E buff and Z buff. The next skill on the list is either Barrage of Lightning or Yoke of Ordeal for the tier 3 add-on buff. Which one to use depends on some different factors. The main one being that if you have E buff running, you want to prioritize Barrage, because Yoke's 10% crit rate buff does not get applied during E buff. Also, try to be careful with Barrage aim in tower and deca spots. If you aim it too high on a structure, mobs around it will not take damage most of the time. Next, we will have the good old Toxic Flood. This skill has an insane DPS on stationary targets, and the only reason it's not much higher than this in the list is because for lower end spots you don't really use it much. For mid and end game, best time to use it is usually as you're running to the pack, or right before Voltaic Pulse. And here we come to our favorite Fisher Wave. There are a few things I'd like to say about this. As long as you have Voltaic on cooldown and have a tier 3 add-on running, keep using this pretty much as it's coming off cooldown. For more thick spots, like Lantern Olons, Gyfins and Tungrid Ruins, you can even slap back attack and crit damage on this one. But for everything else, I prefer using crit rate and minus DP, just for uptime's sake. For positioning, most of the time try to not be in direct melee to the mob if possible. Since Fisher Wave is a max hit skill, you might lose some damage that way. Last but not least, our filler spells. The first two, Equilibrium Break and Thunderstorm, are equally important. Thunderstorm does slightly more damage, while Equilibrium Break has a magic DP debuff. In the same category, we have the Magnus skill. Damage on it is pretty decent, but sadly you have to swap back to Awakening after using it, reducing its priority down to fillers. The very last spell here, Lightning Blast, does a very small amount of damage and should only be used if you don't need to reposition. Now that we've covered the priority list, let me showcase how it works. For the purpose of demonstration, I've aligned my CD slots to reflect the priority list. Basically, you're not really pressing skills in a set order, you're just going from top to bottom and using skills that are off cooldown. For buff management, keep in mind that your speed spell and E-buff share the same casting speed buff, but on E-buff it is weaker, so if you use your E-buff during speed spell, as soon as speed spell ends, you will lose the casting speed. But if you use speed spell while you have E-buff running, you will keep the casting speed. BSR, on the other hand, overrides all other buffs, including Voltaic. Anyways, that's it for today. Hope this helps you guys figure out the combo a little easier. If you'd like to see some Witch PvE in action, I'm streaming almost every day. The link will be in the description. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.